I was transgender. I'm going to tell you how she found out.
Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing great. If you are new, my name is Lizzie. You are welcome to my channel. So this girl here is a transgender and she find a boyfriend. She moved to the boyfriend house and the boy live with her mom and siblings. She did inform them that she is a transgender. So this is what the boyfriend mom find inside her phone.
I lived with my boyfriend and his parents for 3 months, and none of them knew that I was transgender. I'm going to tell you how she found out. So basically, here's a little background on me. I started transitioning when I was a teenager, and, I went through the whole glitz and glam. I met my boyfriend here in New York, and, he was staying in Buffalo, but he relocated to New York, homeless. I met him outside. We eventually ended up getting together, and he told me that he was going to move back in with his parents and he would love for me to come with. So I went and I didn't tell him, yo, I'm trans. He introduced me to his mom, he introduced me to his dad, I met a few of his siblings. And, I was even laying in the bed. There are times that I was showering and the mom would come in and nobody had a clue. So one day I asked to use someone's phone and my phone was not working, so I logged into my Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have one for people that I know and another for people that don't. So I ended up forgetting to log out. And his mom went to use her phone after me. And the next day when I woke up, I just found her acting really funny. She was acting really strange. She loved me, but then she started acting very standoffish, almost like you betrayed me. Like you could see the look in her eye. So, I finally decided that I've had enough with attention and I want to ask her what's really good. Like, what's happening? What's going on? What's beef? So she's like, you logged into my phone last night. Do you know what you left on there? I said, no, nothing. I should have logged out. And she said, I went to your page and I watched your videos. I said, what videos? She says, of your transition. You didn't tell us. So then she's like, you were around my kids. You were around my grandkids. You were around my nieces and nephews. Why didn't you tell me this? I said, ma'am, listen, you make it seem like I'm a threat to the public safety or something. I'm a regular girl, but I knew if I would have said something that I would be labeled otherwise and I would be dehumanized and treated funny. That's why I didn't say nothing. She said, well, you got to get up and help clean up. You know what? If you're going to be living here, you got to help clean up. She started getting real, snappy. So I'm like, I'm just going to pack my things and go because I know that's the next thing you're going to say. She's like, yeah. Does my son know? I said, nah. She said, you know what? We're going to keep it between us, but you got to go. I said, okay. So what did I do? I packed myself and I left. I wasn't going to play with her.
Now you know you wrong. You dead the fuck ass wrong. You should have let that man know that you was trans before you start fucking with him. And if he decided that he still want to fuck with you after the fact, fine, cool. But you done moved in with this man and his parents. I would have put some on your motherfucking asses if I was his motherfucking mama. Cause you fucking wrong. He would have unalived your motherfucking ass. It wouldn't have been nobody's fault but your own.
I want to use this video not to necessarily address the personal identity claims made by this creator, but to discuss the psychological phenomenon that she and many other people experience. It seems to me that the people who claim to be transgender or non-binary or any of the other neo-genders are really just people who have high creativity as part of their personality. And you can clearly see that in the way she does her makeup, the accessories and jewelry she wears. It's evident that she's a creative person. And I mean that technically speaking, because creativity is defined as the use of the imagination or original ideas, not traditional ones. So it makes all the sense in the world that people who may experience unease adhering to a conventional gender identity are also people who are naturally creative. I think much of the confusion surrounding gender and sex and how many genders there are exists because at some point we as a society started conflating gender with personality. Now, just to be clear, I don't subscribe to the belief that gender and sex are the exact same thing, but we do know that gender is rooted in and highly correlated with sex. But I think it's more specific and productive for us as a society to say that there are numerous forms of gender expression and not just an unlimited amount of genders. Gender, which is derived from sex, does exist on a binary for the most part, with minor exceptional cases like intersex. On the contrary, gender expression, or just simply put, your personality, is what actually exists on a spectrum. So you can have men who exhibit different degrees of masculinity, feminine men of multiple variations, and feminine and masculine women in the same sense. The gender you are assigned at birth, which coincides with your biological sex, is very much real and concrete, but doesn't and cannot fully determine your self-expression in the world with 100% accuracy. Even though most people express themselves in a manner similar to the standard idea of the gender they are born as, a small contingent of creative people may have a harder time doing that, and that's understandable. It's definitely wise for us as a society to accept these creative people, as they are humans just like the rest of us and could bring along innovative ideas as creative people usually do. But we have to be mature in realizing that not all creativity is useful or productive, and we have plenty examples of people whose creative minds went too far. So we should just be cautious not to let this creativity go completely unbridled and undermine foundational concepts that are integral to the stability of our society.
That these transphobic TikTokers are misrepresenting what I said and just straight up lying, because that's the only way you can disagree with what I'm about to tell you.
Straight up lying? That's interesting. This is episode 12 of Exposing Lies on TikTok.
Their entire argument is that gender is biological and anyone who is trans is just mentally unwell. This is something that the general scientific community agrees is wrong.
Yes, gender is based in biology. That's why the concept of man is formally and informally defined as adult male human, and the concept of woman is defined as adult female human. People who identify as trans are those with an incongruence between their biological sex and their perceived gender identity. There's also a mental disorder known as gender dysphoria that's classified in the DSM-5 and is described as a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. I don't think that's a coincidence.
When it comes to chromosomes, XX equals female, XY equals male, and any other combination of chromosomes is intersex.
Not necessarily. XX is generally associated with females and XY is generally associated with males, but what actually determines gender is the activation of the SRY gene in the Y chromosome. So males are males because the SRY gene successfully activated in the Y chromosome, which initiates male embryonic development. Females are females because they have no activation of an SRY gene, so they undergo female embryonic development. There can be exceptions to this. Some males can have XXY chromosomes, also known as Klinefelter syndrome. But they are still male because the SRY gene in the Y chromosome was activated.
Did you know that sometimes someone who is biologically male can actually have the appearance of a female? And they don't have extra chromosomes or anything. They legit just have XX or XY chromosome. When males present female, it's called Sawyer syndrome. They grow up and live their entire lives as women despite being biologically male.
Yeah, that's completely wrong. People with Swyer syndrome aren't males presenting as female, they're just females with XY chromosomes. And it's just blatant spreading of misinformation to refer to them as males because the scientific community doesn't at all agree with that assertion. Swyer syndrome is a rare disorder that occurs when someone has XY chromosomes but the SRY gene in the Y chromosome does not activate. Because the SRY gene does not activate, the individual does not go down the male embryonic developmental pathway. They have no sex glands but instead develop female internal and external genitalia. So these individuals are not male just because they have XY chromosomes. It's a little more complicated than that.
We know what brainwashing somebody on the basis of gender looks like, and we also know that it doesn't fucking work. A long time ago, a crackpot psychologist called John Money conducted an experiment.
It's kind of ironic that you mentioned John Money, the sick and twisted doctor who used someone with a medical condition to experiment on and justify his theory of gender identity. Because here you are trying to use people with intersex conditions who are completely unrelated to those who choose to identify as trans as a way to justify your gender ideology. All while making claims that are eerily similar to claims that John Money himself made.
Alright, I'm not really going to act shocked by this because this happens a lot. Where, people that's different genders don't divulge, that they trans or whatever the people and get themselves in deep. Like this person was living in the house with this man and his parents and nieces and nephews and nobody knew what was going on. It's so dangerous. The reason for me making this video is I would legitimately like to know why anybody feels like it's worth it, because most of the time the consequence be something violent, and then it's like, oh, it's violence against trans women or whatever. But like, if you're not telling people and then they're dealing with you and then they lose their mind because they question their sexuality and they can't deal with it in a, I mean, that would be a lot, you know, to hit a person at one time. So, you know, if they can't deal with it mentally and they lash out, not to say that it's right, you know what I mean? But why risk that? If you know that's the outcome, why risk it? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Why is dealing with a straight man worth your life? You better talk to these women out here. They say we not that dope, you know, to be getting killed over. You know what I'm saying? But I often question that, and I lost a friend like that. I lost somebody I went to school with that, you know, grew up and decided to dress like a girl and all of that, and you know, out there jumping in people's cars, and bull found out and they found him in a park, and I'm like, damn. Like, wouldn't you want to deal with somebody who knew what you was and was like, yeah, and this still my John? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be more of a flex to be with somebody who said, I know who and what you are, and I still want to deal with you, rather than somebody dealing with you thinking you're somebody else? Like, and then always risking them taking your life? Like, is your little moments with them that special that you willing to risk dying? Like, that's what I don't get, because I value my life so much. So when it comes to things that I do and don't do in my life, I always weigh it against death. You know what I mean? Like, when the George Floyd riots was outside, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay in the house, because you know, other stuff can happen. And other stuff did get, you know, some of them Walmarts, people was getting shot and people was getting arrested, and you know, a lot of people got away, but some people didn't. Some people got trampled. You know, some people got their cars stolen while they was out there stealing, you know, so I just decided to stay in the crib. Like, I risk assess everything, and that is so risky, and I just don't understand it. So if anybody could tell me why it's worth it, I would like to hear it.
As you should, rightfully so. You're trying to make yourself look like the victim when you are the defendant. You bamboozled this whole family.
Boy, I'm a girl.
You're transgender?
Yes.
No, Quinn has XY chromosomes like Jared and me, not XX like you. Science says he's male.
No, Quinn has gender dysphoria. Her assigned gender is not the one she identifies with. She's mismatched, Dr. Murphy.
But biologically...
Other than biologically, how do you know you're supposed to be a boy?
Your question doesn't make sense. I'm not supposed to be anything. I am a boy. Biologically, that's it.
Okay, deep tenderness at McBurney's point. Could be acute appendicitis.
Murphy, get imaging to confirm.
Hello. Do you wear dresses?
Murphy? Don't.
Quinn is a boy who thinks he's a girl. I want to know why he thinks that.
Sometimes I wear dresses, but sometimes I wear leggings.
Do you like the color pink?
I'm more of a purple girl.
Do you play with dolls?
Since I was 5, but I'm super into mermaids.
Do you take dance?
Murphy, 20 questions are up.
I only asked 4. Do you wear
Doesn't
perfume?
matter. The CT's ready. Let's
Do
go.
you always paint your nails?
Let's go.
Do you think he's complicated or confused?
Dude, you gotta quit calling her a he. We're never going to win this competition if you're disrespecting our patient. Don't they have transgender people in Wyoming?
Okay, transgender patient care was not part of my medical school curriculum. Was it part of yours?
No.
Quinn doesn't have appendicitis. He has testicular cancer.
She.
So, before you watch this video, go back and actually watch her video and then come back. And read the comments, y'all. These comments are so disgusting, it's not even... Why should she have to disclose that personal information to her boyfriend's mother or to her boyfriend's family? Her boyfriend, sure, but I can understand why she didn't. And they were only dating for 3 months. Like, yeah, being honest in the beginning is probably better. But at the same time, people like her get killed every day for being like her. So, can you really blame her for not telling the boyfriend? Like, or the parents? And then for the mother to just kick her out like that?
I'm sorry as a fucking, like, no. Just no. Like, and then trying to make it seem like she's just like some hardcore criminal off the street. Like, oh, why didn't you tell me that? Like, it's none of your business. First off, this woman is better than me. She better than me, because yeah, granted, I probably would have told whoever I was dealing with, because I'm a very open person regardless. If it's your, like, if you have an issue with it, you have a fucking issue with it. It's on you, not on me. It's nothing I did. You want to harm me for my issue? You know, you want to harm me because of your issues with it? Well, guess what? You got one shot, one hit. That's all it is. But a lot of people aren't like me, so, and that's okay. You know, we hear all these stories about people coming out as trans and then getting murdered. You get murdered for being gay or lesbian. Like, are you serious? Like, oh, because you have a problem with it. It's not part of your religion. Oh, just like being a witch isn't part of your religion, but you want to burn witches. Like, I swear, y'all treat transgender people and everybody part of the LGBTQ community like it's the fucking witch trials again. Oh, because they're not like you. Well, guess what? You're a Karen and nobody wants to be a Karen, so the mom was wrong. You chick are awesome.
Thank you for watching to the end. If you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please just hit that subscribe down below. Turn on your notification. Anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. Feel free and leave your opinion down under the comment section. Stay blessed and bye-bye.